falling star. When you make a wish, ooh, just remember luck is no such thing. One man succeeds while another man fails. Why is it then you ask the stars up above?
Coming to you live from New York City, you're watching Astrology Numerology Now for Monday, February the 10th. How could I forget that? Today is February the 10th, 2020. I'm your host, you already know. This is Z-Star Man, professional astrologer, numerologist, where every week at this time we bring you the latest astrology news and information. As I've said in front of these cameras for 12 years now, real astrology, real numerology in real time. If you want to talk astrology with me and you're watching on Manhattan Neighborhood Network, give me a call right now, 212-757-1393. I want to say hello to everyone who is watching the show online on MNN.org on the HD channel, whether you're in Cincinnati, Washington, D.C., California, St. Louis, Detroit, Michigan. Wherever you are, you can give me a call and we can talk astrology and numerology live from New York City. That number is 212-757-1393 is the number to call. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Welcome to Astrology Numerology Now. I want to say hello to everybody who is watching the show on the BCAT channel in Brooklyn, New York. BK all day and all night too. Thanks for watching Astrology Numerology Now. I love you. And one of the things that we're going to talk about on tonight's episode of Astrology Numerology Now is love. It's love. A lot of you are in relationships. It's Valentine's Day that's coming up on the 14th. If you're watching in Brooklyn, it'll be on the 16th, but we still can talk about love and relationships. What sign is compatible for me? What numbers are compatible for me? So some people are compatible by sign and by numbers. We're going to talk about that later on in the show. But the big thing that we're going to talk about is the upcoming Mercury retrograde. The upcoming Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is coming, y'all. We haven't had a Mercury retrograde since last December. There it is on the screen. Mercury retrograde ahead. Now, do I have to tell y'all what Mercury retrograde means after all these years of astrology, numerology now? We've been here 12 years, so most of you know what a Mercury retrograde is. So the Mercury retrograde is going to be from, come back to me please. The Mercury retrograde is going to be beginning on February 16th, 2020, and it's going to last until March 9th. And it's going to happen in the sign of Pisces. And it's going to happen a little bit in Aquarius, but it's going to fall back into the sign of Pisces. For all of you who know, you can Google Mercury retrograde. The world has evolved since I started astrology almost 40 years ago. The world has evolved, so Mercury retrograde is a common thing. What is it in a nutshell? It's a cosmic time out. It's a time for you to get your affairs together, but this Mercury is the planet of communications. And again, for those of you who are just watching the show, you don't have to be religious to understand astrology and numerology. There are all kinds of people from around the world, all walks of faith and lifestyles that are into astrology and numerology. But just to keep you, if you don't know anything about a Mercury retrograde, what is it? It's sort of kind of, when we look at Mercury, for those who are into astrology and know the night sky, it looks like it's moving backwards. We get that same effect when we're riding the subway, New Yorkers. Let's say if you're on the express train that passes the local train, and sometimes when you're on the express train, that local train looks like it's moving backwards. I know we have a phone call. I know we have a couple of calls, but I want you to stand by. It's important that I get out this information because I won't be back here for a couple of weeks. I'm chilling during this Mercury retrograde, and this Mercury retrograde that's coming up is nothing to play with. It's nothing to play with at all. But explaining what a Mercury retrograde is again, like most New Yorkers, we ride the subway, and if you're on the express train, let's say Brooklyn, if you're on the A train and it passes the C local looks like it's sort of kind of moving backwards. Or if you're riding in a car on the highway, and that car on the highway or you're in the faster moving car that passes the slower moving car, that slower moving car looks like it's moving backwards. All this is an optical illusion because of the change in the speeds and the rotation of the planets. All the planets retrograde except the sun and the moon. And we're about to get into the season of retrogrades. We haven't had any planets retrograde since January of 2000, or excuse me, let me say it right, since January the 10th. It's been clear smoothing, clear sailing, no retrogrades. Now we're into retrograde season. Retrograde season, or the very first real retrograde of 2020, is this Mercury retrograde in the sign of Pisces. It's going to fall back into the sign of Aquarius, and it's going to come back into the Pisces. A lot of Pisces people, you got a lot of soul searching to do. A lot of Aquarius people, especially Aquarian people, or if you got Aquarius rising sign, especially the latter degrees of Aquarius, you got a lot of things that you got to sort out of your head, a lot of things that are going on in your mind right now. And this is for everybody. No one is immune to Mercury retrograde. We all feel it, whether we're Jewish or we're Baptists, Christians, or whatever. We're under the influence of the bigger things that are planets. What are some of the things to do? We have a meme, Deetra, our director in the control room. Let's go back to that meme, what to do and not to do in the Mercury retrograde. See, the big thing is RE. You see all these words with RE. Reflect, repair, review, redo, rethink, reconsider, reschedule. Sometimes things can't happen. One thing on a Mercury retrograde, the key thing is not to sign on any papers or any contracts. Come back to me on one, please. Not to sign on any papers or contracts during a Mercury retrograde, because Murphy's Law is in effect, and especially you Pisces people. If you're planning on buying a home, if you're planning on starting a new job, it's now time for wherever Mercury in Pisces and Aquarius is in your chart. Let's say if you're a Gemini, or if you have Gemini rising sign, this is going to affect your career. It's always best to know what your rising sign is so you can get a clearer picture of how the Mercury retrograde is going to play out for the next couple of days in your astrology chart. They're coming out here telling me, Starman, you got a phone call, but more of Mercury retrograde. I'm going to stay on this, but Mercury retrograde, Brooklyn, Bronx, Washington, D.C., L.A., London, England, Miami, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's coming. Get ready. Caller, you're on Astrology Numerology now with Z Starman.
Hello?
Hello, caller.
Hi, Z Starman. How are you? This is Holly.
Who is this?
Holly.
You know, I was thinking about you all the other day. How you doing, Miss Virgo?
I'm fine.
How's your mom doing?
She's doing great. Thank you.
And how's your daughter doing?
She's doing great.
See, Holly and her mom and her daughter, they're from a family of astrologers, and they probably have been watching the show and supporting the show ever since I started about 12 years ago. How can I help you out tonight?
Yes, and my mom says hi, by the way. Okay.
Hi, Mom.
I have a girlfriend now, and I just wanted to know, are we compatible?
Could we turn the sound up a little bit, Stanley? Hold on, Holly. Go ahead,
Okay.
Holly.
Yeah, I have a girlfriend now, and I just wanted to know how compatible we are.
Okay, what day is your girlfriend's birthday?
August 21st. I'm sorry, August 28th, 1961.
August 28th, 1951?
961.
And when's your birthday?
April 7th, 1974.
You're Aries, that's right. I always confuse you for being a Virgo.
No, my Virgo, but my rising is Virgo.
Okay, that's where I get the part out. Now that's a good start right there. Your rising sign is Virgo. And she's Virgo, so this woman, she has had a big impact on your life already in the little short time that you've probably been together.
Yes, yes.
She's made a big difference in how you behave. One thing about Virgo rising people, sometimes they have a lot of confidence and then they lack self-confidence.
Right.
But this woman, she has been a jolt of energy for you over the last couple of, how long have you been together?
This month will make a year.
Okay. Now, the one thing about Virgos, and this is probably why y'all get along together with, is you're very picky. So,
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, God. That Virgo part makes you very picky, very critical. Yeah. One thing that she has to learn to do is to give you your space, give you your freedom, because that's what Aries needs. It needs its space to move and go about and do projects. Be sort of kind of soul. Yeah. I'm sorry?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. She's on the Aries moon. I'm an Aries sun.
Wait a minute. She has Aries moon?
And Scorpio ascendant, and I'm a Scorpio moon. Yeah.
Wow, this sounds like a great relationship. I like the numbers on it. You're a 7 and she's a 1. You're the spiritual side of the relationship. And she's like the go-getter. Let's say, forget that. Let's go kick some doors in and kick some ass.
Yeah.
That's the type of person she is. But to get a better understanding, excuse me, to get a better understanding of the relationship is to get what we call in astrology a synastry report. SYNASTR. So you can really see the strengths and the weaknesses of the two of your relationships. Now, for you, this is a number 7, excuse me, this is a number, excuse me, Holly, this is a number 6 personal year for you. So with Virgo, Virgo's the 6th sign of the zodiac, but this is a 6th personal year for you, and it's about responsibility. Because this is not an ordinary relationship. It's a relationship that has to have a lot of responsibility behind it. For her, for your partner, this is a number, let's see, number 4 year for her. So the two of you, it's a 6 for her, 4 is about building blocks, foundations. She has one of those birthdays that whatever the universal year is, her personal year is going to be the same.
Okay.
So it's a 4 universal year about building, and for you it's a 6. So this is a great year of new beginnings, but I want you to call me so we can get you a synastry report that breaks down both of your relationships, okay?
I'd like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Don't be a stranger, girl.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Holly from Manhattan, Money Making Manhattan, talking relationships. I wish you a lot of well, Holly. I wish you well in your relationship, Virgo and Aries. That's a nice little combo. 212-715-71393 is the number to call if you want to know about your relationships from an astrology and numerology point of view. But let's continue on. We're saying goodbye to Aquarius season. We're saying goodbye to all the Aquariuses. And since it's the last stages of Aquarius, I want to say happy birthday. He's out here on the set. Should put him on camera. I want to say happy birthday to our technical director, audio man, master of all, Mr. Stanley Mitchell. Happy birthday, Aquarius. You can come back to me. Come back to me. I got the water in my hand. I don't care. Come back to me on camera 2. Come back to me. I'm coughing a little bit, talking a lot today. But happy birthday to all the Aquarius people out there. But starting on February the 18th, the sun enters into the sign of Pisces. Pisces season is getting ready to happen. It's upon us. So that's a couple of days away. Pisces season enters, or it's from February 18th to 19th. Aries season starts in 2020 on the 19th. If you read in some books, Aries season start on the 20th, but this is Pisces, the symbol for Pisces, the 2 fish. One fish tied at the tail with one another. Pisces people are some of the most psychic people I know. They're very psychic. They're very clairvoyant. They're very emotional. They're part of the water signs like Cancer, like Scorpio, and like Pisces. But Pisces people, you're going to have to deal with this Mercury retrograde. You're going to have to deal with this Mercury retrograde in the sign of Pisces. If you're a Pisces out there and you want to know how this Mercury retrograde is going to affect you, give me a call right now. 212-757-1393 is the number to call. Now, the name of the show, we got another caller. Callers, please stand by. It's important that I get out this information. February, the month of February, is a number 6 universal month. It's the number 6 universal month. How do we get that? 2020 is a 4. 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0 equals 4. We add the month of February for the number 2. And February 2020, we got a couple more weeks left in that, is the number 6 universal month. Work and responsibility, and it's good for people who are Virgos. Or if your birthday adds up to the number 6. If you're born on the 6th, the 15th, 1 and 5 is 6, the 24th, 2 and 4 is 6. So this is a 6 universal month for the month of February 2020. You can call me at 646-389-1311. Know who you are from an astrology and numerology point of view. I am on Facebook. I am on Twitter. I am on Instagram as Z Starman. If you want to email me, astrologylover@hotmail.com. I also have a discount for Black History Month. I said this last week on my astrology numerology readings. If you want to get a reading and say, hey, Z Starman, I want to schedule a reading and I want the Black History Month discount. All right? Now, we're about to close the show, but one thing I wanted to talk about is astrology and relationships real quickly. We got about 5 minutes left in the show. Some people say, well, I don't like a Gemini and I don't like a Taurus. Any sign can get along with any sign from an astrology point of view. You have to know what element are you compatible with. Basically, all the air signs are compatible. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, those are the air signs. The fire signs are Leo. They're supposed to be compatible because they're fires. Or all the fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Water signs, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. And the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So people look for astrology compatibility like that. Another way to look at astrology compatibility is through numbers. Some numbers work well with other numbers. Let's say a 1 works well with a 9, and a 2 works well with a 7. So you have to know what numbers are. Anybody can get along with anybody. It doesn't even have to be a relationship. It could be your boss. Know how you relate to that person from an astrology and numerology point of view. Anybody can get along with anybody. Now, coming up, we have Mars in the sign of Capricorn. Mars is in the sign of Capricorn. There's a symbol for Capricorn. And that's going to be from February 16th to March 20th. Mars works best in the sign of Capricorn. Mars works best. Out of all the places for Mars to be, it works best in the sign of Capricorn. So this is a great time. It's exalted in the sign of Capricorn. But we got to worry about Mars in March when it conjuncts Pluto, conjuncts Saturn, and conjuncts Jupiter. So Capricorn people, keep your cool. Up next, we have Venus in the sign of Aries. Any Aries people out there? I'm in the mood for love. If you're an Aries person. Now on the left is a symbol for Venus. On the right is a symbol for Aries. And Venus will be in the sign of Aries. Not a good place for Venus to be because Venus is bossy. So Holly, with your Aries people and your Aries, try not to let your emotions run wild. Up next, my favorite part of the show, people in the news. And boy, who are the people in the news? Let's show them, Deetra. Gayle King, Snoop Dogg, arguing over Kobe Bryant. This is burning up black Twitter, as they say. Gayle King's birthday is December 28th, 1954. She's a Capricorn with Aquarius rising and Capricorn rising. So Gayle King is a Capricorn. Snoop Dogg, let's show them their pictures. This is my favorite part of the show, people in the news. Snoop Dogg is a Libra. His birthday is October 20th, 1971. And his sun sign is Libra, of course. And he has Scorpio moon and Taurus rising. And of course, Kobe, he was a Virgo. Kobe was a Virgo with the moon in Taurus and Capricorn rising. So all his earth signs. Now, come back to me. Where was Lisa Leslie? No, I mean, I saw the interview. The world hasn't seen it. You know, I work in media. I'm in front of cameras all the time. And whenever I'm sitting in front of these television cameras, I have to say, okay, Zaki Gemini, I'm a Gemini. You have to be careful of what you say. You have to be sensitive of other people's feelings. Now, let's show Gayle and Snoop again. One more time, control room. Let's show them one more time. We got about a minute, 30 seconds left in the show. Gayle is a Capricorn. It's her job. Capricorns are always about their job, and they're going to do their job how they want to do it. Snoop is a Libra, and he's sort of kind of sensitive. Kobe is a Taurus. Lisa Leslie. Lisa Leslie is, she's a Cancer. She's a Cancer. I wanted to hear Lisa Leslie say, girl, why you asking me those questions? But everybody, especially with this Mercury retrograde coming up, be careful of how you speak to people, how you talk to people. Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Pisces. A lot of things are going to be revealed. A lot of things that come out of the past and come to the surface that's going to shock everybody as we transition, as these planets shift, as we get ready for spring equinox 2020. I want to thank my control room, Deetra Kelsey, my main man, the birthday man, Stanley Mitchell, and our new control room person, Daniel Cameron. This has been Z Starman for Astrology Numerology Now. I'm wishing you peace, love, light. Namaste.
And practical, yet Gemini, so inconsistent. Ooh, let me tell you a secret I know, known the world over. Your life is controlled by the stars. Just ask them. Ooh, the planet of life. Virgo is known for versatility, while Taurus for persistency. Get Aries to be very, very ambitious. Libra, the cheerful and merry one.
Pisces, you fish. You are a romantic, constantly striving to escape from reality into the blessed